Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen and enjoy my stories every day. The night air is thick with the scent of spring, the world shimmering with a delicate promise. I stand outside the glimmering facade of Lucille, the restaurant where I've booked a table for our anniversary. It was supposed to be a celebration, a toast to another year together, a reaffirmation of the love I thought we shared. Yet, as I wait, an unsettling feeling gnaws at me. Where is she? I mutter to myself, glancing at my watch. The reservation was for 7, and it's nearly 7:15. As the minutes tick by, my heart sinks deeper into my chest. The extravagant table for 2, adorned with flickering candles and roses, now feels like a cruel joke. With each passing moment, the anticipation I had felt transforms into anxiety. I decide to take a brief walk, hoping the fresh air will ease my restless thoughts. I wander away from the entrance, the sounds of laughter and clinking glasses fading behind me. The warm glow of the street lamps casts an amber light, illuminating the cobblestone streets as I walk aimlessly. Suddenly, I catch sight of a cozy corner of the establishment, a secluded space framed by velvet curtains. Curiosity pulls me closer, and I lean in just enough to peer inside. My heart freezes. There she is, my wife, her laughter ringing like a soft chime, but it's not my voice that joins hers. Beneath the table, our neighbor, Greg, leans in, his face flushed with excitement as he whispers something to her. The sight is jarring, she looks relaxed, her hands sliding playfully across his thigh. Time stands still as a wave of disbelief crashes over me. Memories flood my mind, the late-night conversations, the promises, the dreams of a shared future. What the hell? I whisper, my breath catching in my throat. My heart races as the pieces of a puzzle I never wanted to see begin to fit together. It's all there, the late nights at work, the secretive phone calls, the way she smiles at him. I step back, pressing my back against the cool wall of the building, my thoughts spiraling into chaos. How could she? After everything we built together, the love we nurtured like a fragile flower. It feels like my world is crumbling around me. The anger swells within, mingling with the betrayal that cuts deeper than any blade. I take a deep breath, forcing myself to remain calm, but the flames of fury ignite. I don't know how long I stand there, watching the two of them. Just a moment, perhaps, but it feels like an eternity. The scene unfolds like a twisted play before my eyes, one I never auditioned for. I turn away, heart racing, the laughter echoing in my ears, taunting me as I head back inside. "Sir." The hostess greets me with a polite smile, but her words fade as I brush past her. I need to confront her, to let her know I know. I march toward our table, the bouquet of roses now feeling like a funeral arrangement. My hand grips the back of the chair as I wait for her to arrive, a storm brewing inside me. Minutes pass, but she doesn't show. The waiter approaches, oblivious to my inner turmoil. "Can I get you anything to drink while you wait?" "No, just wait," I snap, anger bubbling to the surface. I scan the room, my eyes landing on the corner again. There they are, still lost in their own world, and I can feel the rage boiling over. When she finally arrives, a radiant smile lighting up her face, I can hardly contain myself. "Sorry I'm late. The traffic was just." "Where have you been?" I interrupt, my voice steady yet laced with an edge that slices through her enthusiasm. "What do you mean?" she asks, confusion flickering in her eyes. "Don't play games with me, Lisa. I saw you." Her smile falters, and for a moment, I see the mask slip. "What are you talking about?" "The cozy corner. You and Greg. Under the table, right? Tell me it's not what it looks like." My heart pounds in my chest as I await her response, each word dripping with venom. She shifts, her gaze darting around the restaurant, and for the first time, I see fear in her eyes. It's not what you think." "It's not what I think." "Then what is it?" The words tumble out, sharp and accusatory. I watch as the color drains from her face, and a part of me revels in the power of the moment. James, please, let me explain, she pleads, but I shake my head, cutting her off. Explain? You mean justify your betrayal? My hands clench into fists, the rage bubbling to the surface. How can I believe anything you say anymore? The reality of her unfaithfulness feels like a heavy weight on my chest, suffocating and bitter. I feel the fracture of trust, the life we built together crumbling beneath my feet. James, I'm sorry, she stammers, desperation creeping into her voice. Sorry doesn't cut it, Lisa. You've shattered everything. The words spill out, raw and painful. I thought we had something real. I thought I could trust you. I never meant to hurt you, she says, her voice trembling, but I'm done. The finality of it all is liberating. I want a divorce, I declare, the words heavy but freeing. Her eyes widen, shock replacing the fear. James, please don't. But I don't let her finish. I'm done. I'll get the papers filed, and you can keep whatever you want. Just stay away from me. I rise from the table, the restaurant's ambience fading into nothingness. As I walk away, I don't look back. I can't. The future I envisioned is gone, replaced by an empty void. The pain is sharp, but the determination to reclaim my life burns brighter. The door swings shut behind me, sealing away the memories of a love that once felt unbreakable. Outside, the air is cool against my skin, but inside, a fire ignites. I will rise from this, stronger, unyielding, and ready for whatever comes next. I step into the cool night air, the weight of my shattered marriage pressing down on me like a heavy fog. My heart races as I walk aimlessly, my mind a whirlwind of anger and betrayal. I find myself on a familiar street, memories flooding back, the laughter, the plans, the promises that now feel like empty echoes. I pull out my phone, scrolling through my contacts until I find Chris, my best friend since childhood. We've been through thick and thin together, and right now, I need him more than ever. I hit dial, pacing back and forth as the phone rings. Hey, man. What's up? Chris answers, his voice bright and cheerful. Can you meet me? I ask, my voice strained. Sure. Where are you? He responds without hesitation. Just a few blocks from Lucille. It's urgent. Got it. I'll be there in 10. He hangs up, and I can feel the adrenaline pulsing through my veins. A few minutes later, Chris pulls up in his old, beat-up truck. I hop in, slamming the door as if to shut out the world. What's going on? Chris asks, concern etched on his face. You look like you've seen a ghost. It's Lisa, I say, my voice shaking. I caught her with Greg. They were, under the table. What? No way. Chris exclaims, disbelief coloring his tone. Are you serious? I nod, the anger bubbling back up inside me. I confronted her. I want a divorce, Chris. I'm done. Damn, man, he says, shaking his head. I had a feeling something was off. You've been distant lately, and I thought everything was fine too, I interrupt, my voice rising. But she's been lying to me, and now I have to pick up the pieces. Chris nods slowly, his eyes narrowing. What's the plan? You need to make sure she knows you're serious. I don't know, I admit, frustration spilling over. I just want to move on. But I can't stop thinking about how long this has been going on. You need to confront Greg. He's the one who's been playing house with your wife, Chris says, his tone shifting from sympathetic to determined. I know, but I'm not sure I want to give him the satisfaction. What if he tries to turn this around on me? I run a hand through my hair, exasperated. Listen, you can't let him walk away unscathed. You need to make your feelings known. It'll give you some closure, he insists, his eyes locked on mine. As I mull over his words, I can feel the anger simmering just below the surface. Fine. Let's do it, I say, my voice gaining strength. I want him to know that I won't be a doormat anymore. We drive in silence for a few moments, my mind racing with possibilities. The idea of confronting Greg brings a surge of adrenaline. I need to regain control over my life, and I want him to feel the weight of his actions. Where do we find him? I ask Chris, my voice steadying. He's probably at home. I can text some of the guys to see if he's around, Chris suggests, pulling out his phone. As he types, I can feel the tension building inside me. The thought of Greg lounging comfortably, oblivious to the chaos he's caused, ignites a fire within me. Chris finishes texting and glances at me, a serious look on his face. Okay, one of the guys says he's at his place. Do you want to head there now? I nod. Let's go. The drive is short, but it feels like an eternity as I wrestle with my emotions. I can already imagine the confrontation, the words I want to say, the satisfaction of laying it all out on the table. We pull up to Greg's modest house, the lights glowing softly in the evening darkness. You ready? Chris asks, glancing at me. Yeah. Let's do this, I reply, my heart racing as we step out of the truck. We approach the front door, and my pulse quickens. I raise my hand and knock firmly. Moments later, the door swings open, revealing Greg. He's dressed casually in a t-shirt and jeans, a surprised look on his face. James? What are you doing here? His smile falters as he takes in my expression. Can we talk? I say, my voice low but firm. Sure. Come in, he replies, stepping aside. As we walk into the living room, I can see his confusion deepening. Chris and I settle onto the couch, and Greg perches on the armrest. What's going on? You look like you've seen a ghost. I take a deep breath, my fists clenching. I know about you and Lisa, I say, my voice steady. Greg blinks, the color draining from his face. What do you mean? Don't play dumb with me, Greg, I snap, anger spilling over. I saw you two together. Under the table at Lucille. His expression shifts from confusion to panic. James, I. Save it, I cut him off. You think this is a game? You think it's okay to mess with my marriage? Look, I didn't mean for this to happen, he stammers, raising his hands defensively. It just happened, man. I didn't want to hurt you. Didn't want to hurt me. It's a little late for that. I shout, my voice echoing in the small space. Chris shifts beside me, clearly enjoying the drama unfolding. James, please, Greg pleads, desperation creeping into his voice. I never wanted you to find out this way. I thought. You thought what? That I'd be okay with it. I spit back, my anger reaching its peak. You've crossed a line, Greg. You've destroyed everything. I know, I know. I'm sorry, he exclaims, his voice rising. But it doesn't have to end like this. You can forgive me. I laugh, a bitter sound that surprises even me. Forgive you? For what? For taking my wife. For betraying our friendship. I can't trust either of you anymore. Greg's face pales further, and I can see the panic growing in his eyes. What do you want me to do? I'll make it right, I promise. Make it right? I echo, incredulity lacing my words. What does that even mean? You think a simple apology will fix this? You think I can just forget? I don't know, he cries, his voice cracking. I just want things to go back to normal. Normal? I scoff, shaking my head. There's no going back. You've ruined that, and now it's time for you to face the consequences. Chris leans in, his voice steady. You need to understand the damage you've done, Greg. This isn't just about you anymore. Greg's eyes dart between us, desperation evident. Please, just give me a chance to explain. Explain what? I demand, my patience wearing thin. How you seduced my wife. How you both betrayed me. You're both pathetic. With that, I stand up, the anger surging through me like a tidal wave. I take a step back, my breath heavy. I want you to think about what you've done. I want you to feel the weight of your betrayal. As I turn to leave, Greg calls out, James, wait. I'm really sorry. But I don't look back. I walk out, leaving him standing there, lost in his own chaos. The night air hits me like a cold slap, but it's a relief. Chris catches up to me outside, a knowing look on his face. You handled that well, man. But what's next for you? I take a deep breath, staring out into the darkness. I don't know, Chris. But I'm not going to let this define me. I'll rebuild, and I'll make sure they both regret what they did. As we drive away from Greg's house, I feel a flicker of hope igniting within me. This is just the beginning. The fallout from tonight will ripple through our lives, and I refuse to be a victim. I will rise from the ashes of this betrayal and reclaim my life, stronger than before. The days following my confrontation with Greg pass in a blur of confusion and anger. I bury myself in work, trying to drown out the noise of betrayal that echoes in my mind. Each email, each meeting feels like a lifeline, keeping me afloat in a sea of turmoil. But at night, when I'm alone in my apartment, the reality of Lisa's infidelity crashes over me like a wave, dragging me under. It's a Friday evening, and I sit on my couch, staring blankly at the television. The flickering images do little to distract me from the thoughts swirling in my head. I can't help but wonder what Lisa is doing right now. Is she with Greg? Does she think about the life we had, or is she too wrapped up in her own guilt? My phone buzzes, pulling me from my thoughts. It's Chris. You still up for that drink, he texts. I hesitate but then reply, yeah, I could use it. A half hour later, I meet Chris at a local bar, a dimly lit place with a relaxed vibe. The jukebox hums softly in the corner, a blend of classic rock and melancholy tunes that match my mood. Chris is already seated at a table in the back, nursing a beer. Hey, man, he greets me, his smile warm but concerned. How are you holding up? I don't know, I admit, sliding into the chair across from him. Some days are worse than others. I just keep replaying everything in my head. Understandable, Chris says, his brow furrowed. Have you talked to Lisa since, you know? No, I reply, shaking my head. And I don't plan to. She made her choice. Good. You deserve better than that, he says, raising his glass in a toast. Here's to moving on. I clink my glass against his, but the toast feels hollow. I just wish it was that easy. I keep thinking about what went wrong. Was I not enough? Stop that, Chris says firmly. This isn't about you. It's about her choices, not your worth. Maybe, I say, my voice trailing off as I take a sip of my drink. But it still hurts like hell. As we talk, I notice a familiar face enter the bar, Lisa's sister, Megan. She's tall, with long dark hair and a piercing gaze that has always unnerved me. We've never been particularly close, but I know she'll be here to support Lisa. Megan, I murmur to Chris, my stomach dropping at the sight of her. What's she doing here? Just breathe, Chris advises, but my heart races. The last thing I want is to have a conversation with her about Lisa. Megan spots me and approaches the table, her expression unreadable. James, she says, her voice cool. I didn't expect to see you here. Yeah, just grabbing a drink, I reply, forcing a smile. How are you? Worried about Lisa, she says, folding her arms. She hasn't been herself lately. I thought maybe you could talk to her. Talk to her? I echo, incredulous. After what she did? I don't think so. Look, I get that you're hurt, Megan says, her tone softening. But Lisa is struggling. She feels terrible about what happened. Does she? I ask, my voice rising. Because it didn't seem that way when I caught her with Greg. Megan flinches, her eyes narrowing. That was a mistake, James. They got carried away. She's not a bad person. No, she just betrayed me, I shoot back, the anger bubbling to the surface again. You don't understand what this feels like. Maybe I do. Megan snaps, her voice sharper than I expect. Lisa is my sister, and I care about her. But that doesn't mean I condone what she did. Then why are you here? I ask, my frustration boiling over. Are you here to defend her? To make excuses? I'm here because I want you to understand that she's still my sister, Megan replies, her voice steady but strained. She's hurting, too, and I want you to give her a chance to explain. I don't want to hear her excuses, I say, shaking my head. I don't think there's anything she can say that would make this better. Megan opens her mouth to respond, but Chris intervenes, sensing the tension. Maybe it's time to take a step back. James, you're angry, and that's okay. But Megan's right about one thing, Lisa is struggling. Why do you care? I ask Chris, frustration spilling over. You're not her friend. You're mine. Because I care about you, and I don't want you to make a decision you'll regret, Chris insists, his voice steady. This is bigger than just you and Lisa. You need to think about how you want to move forward. Megan nods, her expression softening slightly. I don't want to take sides here, James. I just think you should at least hear her out before making any decisions. I take a deep breath, torn between the anger I feel and the faint glimmer of understanding that flickers in the back of my mind. Fine, I say finally, my voice low. If she wants to talk, I'll listen. But I can't promise I'll forgive her. Megan nods, a hint of relief washing over her face. That's all I'm asking for. Just give her a chance to explain herself. As Megan walks away, I feel the weight of uncertainty settling in. Are you sure about this? Chris asks, concern evident in his eyes. I don't know, man, I reply, the turmoil swirling inside me. But I can't keep avoiding her forever. I need to confront this head-on, even if it kills me. We sit in silence for a moment, the jukebox continuing to play softly in the background. I can feel the gravity of the situation pressing down on me, a storm brewing on the horizon. After a few minutes, Chris breaks the silence. You know, I've seen Lisa at the gym lately. She looks rough. I think she's really struggling with this. Maybe she should, I mutter, my anger resurfacing. She made her bed. Now she has to lie in it. True, but it doesn't mean she's not feeling the consequences of her actions, Chris replies, his tone thoughtful. Everyone makes mistakes. The question is whether or not she can own up to them. I nod slowly, contemplating his words. You're right. I just need to be prepared for whatever she throws my way. Just remember, you're in control, Chris says, giving my shoulder a reassuring squeeze. You get to decide how this plays out. Thanks, man, I say, feeling a little steadier. I appreciate you being here for me. As the night wears on, the conversation shifts to lighter topics, but the weight of what's to come hangs over me like a dark cloud. I know that I have to face Lisa sooner rather than later, and when that moment comes, I will be ready to confront her with everything I've been holding back. Finally, I glance at my watch and realize it's getting late. I should head home, I say, rising from my seat. Thanks for tonight, Chris. Anytime, man. Just take care of yourself, he replies, his eyes filled with concern. As I walk out of the bar, the cool night air hits me, a stark reminder of the battle ahead. I'm filled with a mixture of dread and determination. I know I have to face Lisa and hear her side, but the anger still simmers beneath the surface. Tomorrow will be the day. I'll confront her, and whether she's ready or not, I'll finally get the answers I need. The anticipation swells inside me as I walk home, ready to face the reckoning that awaits. The morning sun breaks through the clouds, casting a warm glow over the city, but I can't shake the feeling of impending doom that lingers in the pit of my stomach. Today, I confront Lisa. As I get ready, I replay every conversation we've had, every moment we've shared. It feels like I'm preparing for battle, the emotional stakes higher than ever. I arrive at her apartment, my heart pounding in my chest. The facade of the building looks the same as it always has, but now it feels foreign, tainted by the memories of what once was. I take a deep breath, pushing through the double doors and riding the elevator to the 5th floor. Each ding of the elevator sends shivers down my spine. When I reach her door, I knock firmly, the sound echoing in the silence. Moments later, I hear her footsteps approach. The door swings open, revealing Lisa, looking disheveled and worn. Her eyes widen when she sees me, a mixture of surprise and guilt flashing across her face. "James," she breathes, her voice barely above a whisper. "I didn't expect to see you." "Yeah, well, I didn't come here to exchange pleasantries," I say, my voice colder than I intended. "We need to talk." "Okay," she replies, stepping aside to let me in. I walk past her, my anger simmering just beneath the surface. The familiar sense of her apartment hit me, stirring memories of our life together. I push them away, focusing on the task at hand. "Sit down," I say, gesturing to the couch. I take a seat opposite her, my hands clenched tightly in my lap. "I want to know the truth." "James, I..." "Save it," I interrupt. "I don't want to hear your excuses. I want to know how long this has been going on with Greg." Her expression shifts from surprise to defensiveness. "It was just a moment of weakness. It didn't mean anything." "Didn't mean anything?" I echo, incredulous. "You were under the table with him. How can you possibly say that?" "I know it looks bad," she says, her voice trembling. "But you have to understand, things haven't been great between us. I felt alone." "Alone?" I repeat, incredulity lacing my words. "You didn't think to talk to me? Instead, you went to our neighbor." I was confused. "Okay," she snaps, her voice rising. "I thought I was falling out of love with you." "Falling out of love?" I say, my voice shaking with anger. "You didn't think to have a conversation with me first. You just went ahead and betrayed me." Tears pool in her eyes, but I don't feel sympathy. "I was scared. I didn't know how to handle things." "Scared? You think that gives you a free pass to cheat?" I shout, frustration spilling over. "You've broken everything we had." "I'm sorry, James," she cries, her voice cracking. "I never meant for it to go this far." "Then why didn't you stop?" I demand, leaning forward, my heart racing. "You had the chance to walk away. You chose this." "I was weak," she admits, her voice rising in desperation. "And it's not just about Greg. I've been feeling lost for a while now. I thought I needed something different." "That's rich," I scoff. "You threw away our entire relationship for a fling with someone who lives across the hall." "James, please," she pleads, her voice breaking. "You have to believe me. I regret it every single day." I can feel the anger dissipating slightly, replaced by a mix of sadness and rage. "Do you even understand how deeply you've hurt me? I trusted you." "I know, and I'm sorry," she says, wiping away tears. "But it's not too late. We can work through this." "Work through it?" I repeat, disbelief flooding my voice. "How can I ever trust you again?" Just then, a loud knock interrupts us. I glance at the door, my stomach twisting. "Who is that?" I ask, but before Lisa can respond, the door swings open. It's Greg, his expression shifting from surprise to smugness as he takes in the scene. "What's going on here?" he asks, an arrogant smirk playing on his lips. "Get out," I say, my voice low but fierce. "Why?" "I'm just here to check on Lisa," he replies, feigning innocence. "Check on her?" I scoff. "You've already done enough damage." "James, please." Lisa interjects, her eyes darting between us. "This isn't how I wanted it to happen." "Then how did you want it to happen?" I spit, rising to my feet. "You wanted to play house with my wife while I was out working. Is that the plan?" Greg steps forward, a cocky grin on his face. "Relax, man. It was just a fling. You're making a big deal out of nothing." "Nothing?" I roar, my heart racing with fury. "You've ruined my life. You've betrayed our friendship." "Friendship?" Greg laughs, a harsh sound that grates on my nerves. "You think we were friends? You're just a fool who couldn't keep his wife happy." Before I can respond, Lisa stands, her expression shifting to one of anger. "Greg, stop. This is between James and me." But he continues, ignoring her. "Face it, James. You were too busy with work to even notice what was happening right under your nose." "Shut up." I shout, the fury boiling over. "You're nothing but a coward." "I'm the coward," he laughs, his eyes glinting with malice. "At least I had the guts to go after what I wanted." "Enough." Lisa yells, stepping between us. "Both of you, just stop." The tension hangs thick in the air, and I feel my heart pounding in my chest. I glance at Lisa, the reality of the situation hitting me hard. This isn't just about betrayal, it's about the destruction of everything I believed in. "I can't do this anymore," I say, my voice breaking. "I can't be here with either of you. You've both lied and manipulated everything we had." "James, please," Lisa begs, tears streaming down her face. "Don't do this." "I have to," I reply, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. "I won't be a part of this twisted mess. You've broken my trust, and I can't rebuild it." I turn to Greg, my anger surging again. "And you? You're nothing to me now. You're just a reminder of everything I lost." "Fine. Walk away," he sneers, but I see the hint of fear in his eyes. "You think this is over? You think you can just forget what happened?" "I'm already forgetting," I say coldly. "And you'll wish you had never crossed me." I storm past him, my heart racing, the weight of my decision settling in. As I reach the door, I pause for a moment, looking back at Lisa. Her eyes are wide with shock and sorrow. "I hope you find what you're looking for," I say quietly, the finality of my words echoing in the silence. "But it won't be with me." I step outside, the cool air hitting my face like a refreshing breeze. I can't believe what just happened. My heart aches, but I know this is the right decision. I can't stay trapped in a cycle of deceit. As I walk away from the apartment building, I hear Lisa's voice calling after me, but I don't look back. I keep walking, determined to leave behind the pain and betrayal. In the days that follow, I focus on rebuilding my life, piece by piece. I immerse myself in work, rekindle friendships, and find solace in the freedom of being true to myself. The anger fades, replaced by a sense of clarity. One evening, as I sit on my balcony, watching the sunset paint the sky in vibrant hues, I receive a text. It's from Chris. "Hey man, heard from Megan. She says Lisa's in a bad place. Just wanted to check on you." I reply, "I'm fine. I've moved on. It's time for her to do the same." As I set my phone down, I feel a sense of peace wash over me. I've closed the door on a painful chapter of my life, and for the first time in a long time, I'm excited about what lies ahead. I know I'll never forget the lessons learned from this betrayal, but I'm ready to embrace a future filled with possibility, one where I can be free, happy, and true to myself. The betrayal may have shattered my past, but it has also paved the way for a brighter tomorrow.